Alright, this is a quick video on how to multiply decimals. It's something we are going over right now in our math, parallel to learning about polygons. So, multiplying decimals. When multiplying a decimal by a whole number, placement of the decimal point is very important. It obviously changes the value depending on where that decimal is. There are 4 steps when multiplying decimals. So here's an example. Multiplying 22 and 6/10 by 38. First step is to estimate the product. You must estimate your answer so that you can verify your answer afterwards. So we are going to estimate, just to double check, we have 22 and 6/10. We're going to round that down to the nearest tenths, which is 20. And then we have 38, which we're going to round up to the nearest tenths, which is 40, which gives us a rough idea of about 800. If we go 20 times 40 equals 800, or 2 times 4 is 8, and then we'll add the 2 zeros in afterwards. Next thing we are going to do is we're going to multiply to find the product. Multiply these numbers as if they were both whole numbers. Ignore the decimal point. So we're going to write it together. Usually you put the number with the most digits on top, but we ignore the decimal point even though it's in our problem or operation. So we do our multiplication, and we follow the steps in our multiplication sequence to get our answer. Step 3 is then we insert the decimal point in the product. Count the number of decimal digits in the factors, the amount of numbers behind the decimal points in the question. This is the number of numbers you can have in your product. So in other words, we're going to count the decimals back in. In this particular case, we only had one place value. So the 22 and 6/10 is one decimal digit. So I would count that in. So when I finish with my product, I'm going to count in that one decimal digit. And I can look here, 858 and 8/10 is actually pretty close to my estimate, 800. So compare your estimate, step 4, with your product to verify that your answer makes sense. Our product of 858 and 8/10 makes sense since it is close to our estimate of 800. In other words, this 858 and 8/10 could be 8,588. It could be 85 and 88 hundredths. It could be 8 and 588 thousandths, but it's not. It's close to our original estimate. It is 858 and 8/10. So the answer finally is the product of 22 and 6/10 and 38 is 858 and 8/10. So that is our answer.